This Wednesday, the 19th of March 2025, the world will be marking International Digital Learning Day, and the theme for 2025 is Digital Learning Realities in Low-Resourced Context. And in case you're wondering what this means, so what this means is in a low resource context, individuals or communities face limitations in accessing essential resources like healthcare, education, infrastructure, and economic opportunities, often leading to challenges in achieving well-being and development. And that is why today we are joined by an amazing guests who will be telling us what they are doing to ensure nobody is left out in the community in this digital space. So introduce yourself.
Thank you so much. Hi, and my name is Esha Mohammed. I am a Friends of Slick community organization, but I also run an organization by the name Her Narrative. We champion and our work is focused on education, sexual reproductive health and rights, gender, and more so young people participation in leadership and governance. As a profession, I'm a teacher, I'm an educator by profession, and I am happy to be part and parcel of this conversation because for me, we are evolving towards the digital world. We are already there, but I know years to come will be way far beyond where we are. So I'm excited to delve into this conversation and seeing how, especially areas that we work in as Her Narrative and Slick in Kisauni, where most of the people that reside in that area do not have, are not financially stable per se. So then how do we incorporate digital learning in most of the things that our students do for them to easily learn or access information?
Yeah, so let's start with the theme. The theme says digital learning realities in low resource context. And Kisoni is one of the regions that falls into this category. So as Sleek, as your organization, so what are you doing to ensure that nobody is left out as we try to educate?
So maybe first we could realize what are the key things that may be making them left out. One is limited internet access. Yes, we know that Kenya has an increased rate of people with phones, but then you'd find that most young people either borrow phones from their parents, do not have access to that. And then the other one is lack of devices themselves. Most of them do not have access to a smartphone like me and you. They use the Kabambe phone. So to me, access to information or learning is becoming a bit difficult. Another one is electricity issues. It's in so many times we see that electricity goes off at times when maybe you critically want to do something. I have one time I was in a digital class. Actually, we were doing a class online and the electricity went just like that. And remember, most of our houses, sometimes we try to get Wi-Fi. So it means if you don't have electricity, you don't have Wi-Fi. So you cannot access any information. And another one is language barriers. We are in Mombasa. Most of us speak Swahili. Tunaongea Swahili sana. So, and most of our learning institutions prefer English over Swahili. And actually, the education and exams is set in English. You see? Yeah, so already there is a gap around it. So then what are we doing in terms of Slick and even Her Narrative as an organization? One, we create awareness on the importance of young people accessing information, be it in SRHR, be it in anything that they're interested in. So awareness is important. You cannot use a phone if you do not know what you want to access. Then it means as a person, as a young person, you'll just be moving around all the other things but not what you want. And then another one is try and reduce misinformation. There's so much information on internet. But then if you look on issues as SRHR, you might be misled and try out something that maybe you had never thought you wanted to do because you don't know if that is the realities. So now we tell them on issues as SRHR, can you look at this and this? If it is menstruation, people just speak, for example, I'll give an example. You only see what has been put on the mainstream media is disposal sanitary towels. But the reality is there's so many products for menstruation around that no one is speaking of. You see, and you realize maybe Esha is not someone that is well, the body is not interested on on disposal. Maybe I could be better of use with a menstrual cup.
Yeah.
But then because I don't have that information, I'll keep using a disposal sanitary towels, and maybe it's affecting me. So is awareness creation, having conversation on misinformation that is there, that maybe it is just one thing and that particular genre. And even the last one is advocacy. The government has a big part to play in this conversation to ensure that everyone has access to maybe to information. That is one, two, but even before that is, do you have access to internet to be able to get you to that information? The recent conversation with the government, they said that they're going to have each ward have a digital hub. There was that conversation. Then now can we start propagating that conversation on when are we having it? Because we are way past maybe 1 year currently since the president talked about it, but nothing is happening. We have youth center. Kisauni does not have a youth center, you see. Now can we have such conversation? These are the conversations that we do, advocacy on spaces that young people can access information, can learn, can be able to access even the digital's technicalities themselves, that is the hardwares, where they can utilize that information. Yeah.
As much as we're talking about the digital space as a tool for education and passing information, at the same time, the use of social media and other digital devices can also be used to let me find the right word. Can also be used to corrupt morals. So what are you doing to ensure you convince the parents it's okay, you can allow your child to use this device, and whatever they are doing is beneficial to them? Because we've seen so many people availability and easily access to internet, but if you look at the materials that they are going through, it's not beneficial to them. So how are you convincing the parent that this is a safe space for the kids?
I think one is the change of mindset, and that is done through mentorship. I think as a young person yourself, you can be able to convince your parent, but if you have changed your own mindset on what you want to look at. I've told you most of these young people might have a gadget, but they do not know where to get the accurate information or what to do or utilize. So if a person is just using their phone, either to talk with friends, to interact with other people, but not using it effectively for their own use, maybe to learn a particular topic or something. So then it's first this change of mindset for these young people. That is through mentorship. So we mentor them, we have conversation on how to use or interact safely within these particular gadgets, and then how do you get the right information that you want, depending on issues. If it is SRHR, maybe which website do you want to go to, how do you get materials or information on whatever subject matter that you want. But for parents, then you'd find most parents ukiwaita katika hizi spaces hawakuji, because utaambiwa sisi tunafanya kazi tukulipie fee, ama tunafanya kazi tufanye this and this, ama utatuita katika vitu zako zenye unafanya. So you'd find that maybe most parents are not well accepting on this because they also don't know. And now there's a big difference between our parents and us. Our parents lived in an era where there was limited to zero digital learning at that particular moment. So even it is us that are teaching them. Sometimes I think you have a mother atakwambia hii WhatsApp, by the way tunaendaje hapa, si ndio? Yes, they are actually coming back to us. So I feel we still have the opportunity and a big leeway to support our parents in understanding that one, technology is here to stay, and two, there are so many things that, or opportunities that one can get through technology, and there are so many learnings for an individual if they utilize it appropriately. So it's a lot of mentorship, a lot of awareness, and then also the willingness of parents to want to know. You know, so it is a call that maybe I would want to make, that parents should be interested in what their students or what their children are doing within the social places, as you put it, because there's so many things that are doing, and sometimes that is how we end up to see a little bit of less moral, because wazazi hawaangali, hawatake note mtoto wangu anaenda sites gani, anaenda wapi, ama anafanya nini. Yeah.
So in another, like, being this is the Mombasa region and the setup, the culture, religion. So how have you been able to tackle these things? Because I'm sure religion is one of the things that will tell you, talking about some things in a public forum, that's a taboo. Unakujaje kuniambia about reproductive system. So
Hakuna
how are you
tabu
trying
hapo.
to mobilize the society to support what you're doing?
No, hakuna taboo. It is what target group are you working with? If you go to YouTube, there is a sheikha, I think she's called, I've forgotten her name, she's well known now. She has a series on Ramadan, and she has something on fiqh, and fiqh is, sijui nitakueleza aje, but fiqh is the things that one does or what Islam says around something, and she speaks around menstruation, and it's on YouTube. She is saying, how do you how do you track your days, for example, as a woman, beyond, because then we know as Muslim you cannot pray when you're in menstruation, you cannot fast when you're in menstruation, but all this then you need to understand your body, right? So I think it is just the target group. It depends on who are you talking to at that public forum, and then also the information, how is the information coming out, and then how do you relate it even to religion? What does the religion say regarding to menstruation? She even says, when we talk about menstruation, huwa tunasema inafaa ikue for this particular number of days. If it goes beyond the 5 days, what do you do? Do you know in Islam, in as much as you don't pray when a menstruation, if it supersedes in certain madhabs or in certain Islamic setups, if supersede 15 days, you pray. You start praying because that is not menstruation. You see? So it is, what are you saying, to who are you saying it, and how are you saying it? You see? So then religion has no any big deal, the way maybe people will put it. It is, I think it is your approach or the intervention on how you're doing whatever that you're doing. Yeah.
Oh, because you'll find in some setups, you'll find, let's say, let's not dwell on one. You'll find there's a church, there is a denomination telling you, like, don't take your kids to hospitals for
Yes.
polio. Don't take your kids when you're sick, just stay kanyumba, pray, and, you know, like, there are those limitations. They're like, no, ukikuja kutuambia vitu, like, why are you telling me about contraceptives? No, that's, no, you should not be talking about these things, because they feel like we should not be talking about them in the society.
Yeah.
Like, you see some things like that. And
I know, I hear you, and it is true. But then again, is how do we now use the same religion to show people meaning to the things that we were doing and how impactful they are? Because for me then, if you do not have that information, you might even go against maybe what God is saying or what Allah is saying. Yes, because then already you've been told, if again going back to the example that I've given you, that menstruation, yes, when you're menstruating you cannot fast and you're not allowed to pray. But then if it goes beyond and you're still not fasting and pray, then you're going against the commands of Allah, you see? So then how now do we package it to fit the societies that we are in? So yes, how do we package it so that anyone now is like saying, yes, by the way, that is actually making a lot of sense, you see? Yeah, so it depends, yes.
so what are some of the examples of successful sexual, reproductive, and health? The
Sexual
term.
reproductive health and rights.
Yeah, like what are some
Yes.
of the success stories in digital?
Yes, I think there are several, but the one that I saw or I have seen that is coming up a lot is the Love Matters Africa. It was, I think, on Facebook, not even I think it's on Facebook. You can Google Love Matters, and they give out a lot of information on issues SRHR, on issues family planning, and relationships in general. So someone could go check them out and get a lot of information. But also beyond that, the other time it was not on SRHR, but I was listening to a gentleman that had come to a show to Dr. Kingori, and he was talking about the Mluga app. Mluga app is an app where translates a particular language to English. And this again, it goes back to what we are saying, ya kwamba we are from coast and most of us speak Swahili. So then when we are coming with information in English, we're like, hey, that is too much English, bwana. Yes, you see that, how now do we start translating the work that we do? Because for me that was fascinating. Because then before you even get to know that hand is, before you start talking about hand, unaanza kusema mkono kizungu ndo hand. You see, that is better. Yes, that is better. It's like, let the person get on. You know, you're starting now from known to unknown. But in most of the time, we start from unknown, which then it becomes harder for the other person to really get you and understand. So for me, that Mbluga app was a big stand up. It stood out because then if we can utilize that app now to do a lot of awareness on issues, even SRHR, now to that particular language in your own way. Have you realized, even for yourself, there are things that when you speak in your language hits harder compared when you say them in English or Swahili?
Yeah.
Exactly.
There are some expressions that you just have to use that native
yes,
language.
You have to say it in your native language. So ndo hivyo. So for me, Love Matters is doing a lot, but then we need to have more more digital learning spaces where young people could get access to issues on SRHR. We know also UNFPA is doing so much on issues in sexual productive health and rights as well. So we need to see an increase on an amplification of such voices, even with youth-led organizations like SLIC and Her Narrative and any other that are working around SRHRs. Because then it means sisi mashinani, we can be able to reach as many young people as possible. Yeah.
So the other day I was just on my phone and a certain Instagram page and people were talking about a certain contraceptive. And you know, there are so many myths and misconceptions regarding P2. And people are like, the more take a lot of P2, the more quite infertile, the more take a lot of P2, like so many things regarding this. So as in the era of digital space, what are you doing to ensure that the information that these people are getting on social media, like how are you teaching these people to be able to discern between true information and misinformation on the digital space?
Before even I go to what I am doing, I think it's our own responsibility as a community to just take note of the kind of content that we are consuming. And why I'm saying this, because then as an organization there's little that we can do, like maybe awareness creation and tell you, look at the link that is sharing or you getting information from. If it is legit, that is one way of you to know if the content has a particular website, like all that information, basic information that you can go through and check before now you verify and say. And then another thing is, if that information has maybe we posted with a bigger audience, there is high likely that it might be true. But then that is just a small part of what we can do. There is more that you as a person can be able to do. But then again, you need to really sit down and understand first there is information that is the right information, but also there is misinformation, there is disinformation. You need first to understand. And that is one thing that I maybe would want to call upon the various stakeholders to just equip our young people to understand that. Again, as I say, technology is here to stay. My teacher, I'm in school currently, and my teacher told me something. Most of the time when we talk about technology, tunasema imekuja kutuibia kazi zetu. He debunked that, and I agree with it. Like, technology haijakuja kuibia mtu kazi. Technology is function without the people component. You know, I'm in an information system class. And in any information system, it has several components. And one of the key components in it is people. Like, hata ukiwa na technology gani, without people, it will not work appropriately. Hata AI, hata ukienda kwa ChatGPT, lazima input information, they ikupe the right information. So there is no way. So I think with me, that would my call and plea to community members, as we as several or youth-led organizations try to again continue amplifying the same.
So, you know, like there is the reproductive thing, health, and there is also the mental part, health. So your initiative deals with ladies,
Yes.
and if we decide to look at the suicide rate in Kenya inasema 6.1 deaths per 100,000 people in Kenya.
Yeah.
Men are 3 times more likely to die by suicide than women.
Yes,
So as you focus on the ladies, what are you also doing to ensure the boy child is not left?
If the woman is okay, then there is high chance that the man is going to be okay.
But watakuja,
No, but that is just by,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just making fun, sorry. But the reality is, I think it's not about what are we doing, it's about what can we all do. Because again, if we push that organizations that are dealing with women also start focusing on men, then at some point you might see the focus change and goes back to men and we leave women aside. Is then how do we start supporting both equally at the same time? I think in one way or the other, be it you as a woman or as a man, can we equally put effort to ensure that we have supported both genders equally? Not both genders, all the genders equally. Yes? Yes.
I see what you did there.
Don't squid you up. Yes, both genders equally. So for me,
All genders.
so for me, it's that. So I'm not into hiyo debate ya kwamba sijui mbona tufanyi wanaume and that. It is, can we just support people? We are all humans first, so can we all support all of them together? Yeah.
So the other day I was having a discussion with someone and we were talking about depression and mental health.
Yes,
And this
mental
person said, mimi mtu akiniambia kuna depression, nitamwambia hiyo ni magonjwa ya kitajiri. There is nothing such as depression. What is your take on this?
Depression is actually there. Let's just agree that it is there, because then if it was not there, then we would not have seen the numbers that you have just mentioned here. And again, someone doesn't wake up and kill themselves. It means there are several things that they have gone through, and these are mental health issues, and depression is one of it, that has led to that particular thing happening. So it is there, but as you have said and you've asked me around it, I think we need to read more and get information, the right information around mental health in general, leave alone depression, around mental health in general, and then even now the categories like depression, anxiety, and understanding them, because then that will stop the hearsays and the myths and misconceptions surrounding it. And that was my answer.
So as an educator, probably you've got that one student, you've got that one person who comes to you, opens up to you and tells you what's going on. And then you think, okay, you've really done your best to try and listen to this person. You've given umemwambia like what you feel and what they can try to do. But then again, after some time, they come back and they're like, it didn't work. So probably somebody's like, what do I do if the support I went to does not assist me in any way?
You know, when you start looking at support from the other person, even when you go to a psychologist, most of the time you come up with the decisions and you come up with the solutions. They just support you or guide you towards it, but you come up with it. So when you decided to pick that up. So for me, it is, one, we cannot remove that aspect of support. Again, whether it may work or haija work, you trying is a big thing, because then you decided to step up. And that is one learning, or it shows that you're interested to change, or you're interested to grow, or you're interested to get better, right? So don't look at it in a negative perception, but say, that was for me a learning lesson. It was a learning lesson, maybe it did not work, which is 100% okay. Can we now look for a better, what is it called? A better way of doing it that maybe would support me. Kuna watu mara ngapi wameenda hospitali wamepewa dawa, kumbe hiyo dawa haisaidii, so narudi tena kwa daktari, si ndio? Na napewa dawa nzuri. So then why do we want to complicate matters? Yes, it did not work, it's okay. Now, we tried this, it didn't work. What else can we do maybe to do it? But where you are doing good because you've decided it, you know? because then ukienda mahali na unaambiwa let's try this and you do not want, or umeambiwa what can we do and you are quiet, it means you're not yet there. But you even trying and deciding to do it, uko vizuri bana. So let's not unaitwa kujidunisha the things that we've already done ama we are trying to do. That's already a big step. Yeah.
Regarding the matters mental health and do you think there's a cure for mental health?
Not cure per se, but I think one can get better. One can get better. It depends on what you have been diagnosed with. You see, it depends on what, but one I believe can get better, but with the right help and with the right support system. And if it has been noticed mapema, imejulikana mapema na kuna watu wanaweza kukusaidia, I believe you can get better. Yes, I believe you can get better. There are people that were suicidal, but through support and help, they maybe stopped thinking about it. They started seeing life in a better perspective. Yes.
So how do you think the community, the parents, and everybody can support digital learning for health education?
I think one is first accepting. Accepting that the digital learning is there. The government at some point had, because walikuwa wanasema kila shule ikuwe na computers ambazo zitasaidia kufanya e-learnings. So the community itself to accept that we're moving digitally, and then two, the government to put in structures to enable it happening. You know, in as much as we want it, if the government has not fully embraced it, then it becomes hard. And then integration of the digital learnings in the various spheres. If it is in education, if it is at home, if it is whichever places that we're in, especially for teachers, they can integrate. Again, the gentleman said there is one school that they are working with, and in that school they do not use the board. Everything is done
in a digital way.
Yes, in a digital way. Assignments zinatumwa, walimu wanajibu, everything is just digital. I think that is where we are moving. So we just need to embrace it more and start working towards it by putting in resources, plus thinking around it better, so that we can continuously improve it. Yeah.
So as we wrap up, what advice do you have for young people who want to learn more or advocate for SRHR and mental health?
One, to advocate for SRHR, it is not just a matter of young people, it's for everyone, because sexual reproductive health and right is around you and your and issues around health. Na tunajua vitu health ni very they're very important to a person. So it is, do you want to see yourself healthy? Do you want to be okay? Do you want to find various ways to which you can be able to live your life? Then do you want to see everyone maybe access reproductive health? If it is now beyond you, then start talking about it. So advocacy is not just about you, it's about also other people. Yeah, so if you want to see other people doing it, then you need to start talking about it. But for me, I would say, don't let anything limit you. And out here, there are things that you never know other people are going through them, but they are actually going through them. Yes, and you can only know if you share your story out, and you will see. And I'll give you an example, is TikTok. Just post a story on TikTok. You'll see how many messages of people saying, I also went through this, I also did this, I also did this, I also did this. So hakuna kitu labda unapitia peke yako, kuna mtu hajapitia. Hii world is very big. So let's not block ourselves to think that maybe it is just, it is so many people. It's just that you don't know, and you know about yourself. Yes. So I will tell them nothing should limit you. Please get out, get information, get information, the right information, and share that information. You never know who it's going to help. Yeah.
You're listening to Blue Radio, bringing the vibe.